In today's video, we're going to talk about ways that you can spring clean your entire wellness routine in one day. Hi there, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jessica and I'm a holistic and functional nutritionist. And here on my channel, we focus on all things healthy living, but we do it in a really easy and accessible way. So I live in the Midwest where we experience all of the seasons, and it is currently April. Unfortunately, there are April showers, and I've been waiting to film this video on a day when there's a little bit of spring sunshine, but we do not have that for the next 6 days. And I got to thinking that this was the perfect opportunity to potentially do a little bit of spring cleaning in a different capacity. We always think about spring cleaning when it comes to our homes, and I have recently filmed a video for that. I will link that for you up here in the cards as well as the description box down below. But when it comes to our wellness routine, we don't often think through different tactics and ways that we can clean up our routines, make these a bit more efficient, and or make space for new and emerging habits that we would like to bring into our day-to-day activities to support ourselves during the new season. So that's what today's entire video is dedicated to. So as a nutritionist, of course, this has to be my first recommendation, and that is to spring clean your diet. I have a What I Eat in a Day spring edition. I will link that for you up here in the cards, as well as the description box down below from last year. I'm going to be filming an updated one here in 2 weeks for this year, but I love to start with what we are internalizing for our thoughts, our foods. Anything that we're taking in is something I really love to align with based on the season. When it comes to the fall and winter time, I'm starting to crave those heartier, more comforting foods. And while it is pouring rain currently, and it will be for the next 4 days, even with that being said, I am beginning to sense the shift in my body. So I'm still loving soups because it is rainy and a little bit gloomy, and it is the Midwest, so it is still quite cold. However, I do a bit of a spring twist. So I'll do an asparagus soup, or I'll do a zucchini and pea soup, a little bit of a lighter twist to the soups and stews that I tend to gravitate towards in the colder winter months. Then when I'm at the grocery store, I'm always looking for beautiful seasonal produce. And I love to bring this in via salads and smoothies. These are the easiest ways to bring in those fresh and abundant seasonal flavors. So I like to take fresh herbs that are in season or fresh produce and chop that up and enjoy that in a raw salad or blend it into a beautiful smoothie. I call smoothies my insurance policy. For me, it's the easiest way to check the box to get in a ton of nutrients first thing in the morning. So this is not a shameless plug, but I would definitely encourage you to check out a few of the other videos that I have here on my channel, because there is really, truly so many different ways that you can bring in these fresh ingredients into your diet. I love to talk about that and share that obviously here on my platform, but it really doesn't have to be overly complicated. I like to make things very easy and efficient. I am a busy work from home mom of 2. I work full time, I do content creation, and I have 2 small children. So I don't have an abundance of time. So there are definitely easy ways that you can bring in these nutrient dense foods based on the season and make it work really effortlessly into your day-to-day routine. Speaking of not having an abundance of time, but also looking for different ways to nourish yourself based on the season or really any time of year, I want to encourage all of you to spring clean your self-care routine. Now, I am on a glow up to 40. I've been talking about this openly for the last 7 months. I think we're about 7 months away from my birthday. 6 months? Yeah, 6.5 months away from my birthday. And I'm going to be turning 40 this summer. So on my quest and my glow up to 40, I'm doing everything that I possibly can to care for my body from the inside out. And also that includes many self-care practices. Now, my self-care routine in the winter definitely can be a bit indulgent because it gets dark earlier, right? So it does feel like we have more time in the evening when in actuality, there's only 24 hours in a day, but it does feel like we wind down a little bit earlier. We come indoors a bit earlier. The sun is setting earlier. If we see the sun, we are not seeing the sun here currently, but when the days that we do see the sun, it sets a little bit earlier. Now we're in the springtime. So we have already sprung forward. We're already getting a little bit of extra sun in the morning. We're getting more daylight in the evening. And I absolutely love that season. I absolutely love it when suddenly I feel blessed. The day has just gotten abundantly longer. So a few examples and ways that I'm spring cleaning my self-care routine is I love a bath. I love a magnesium soak bath, but I'm doing a few different tactics and tools. So for example, yesterday, it was like 52 degrees when the kids got home from school. Typically, we come right inside, we do a snack, we do a little bit of our after school reading. Then I do let them unwind for 20, 30 minutes with a show. Instead, I encouraged us to stay outside, drop our backpacks, and get some steps in. So that's a way that I'm caring for myself a little bit more. I'm pushing myself. You all know I'm a huge believer in 12K steps per day. Most days, like 363 days out of the year, I hit at least 15,000 steps per day. And now I'm pushing myself to do that more so outside. And I know this may seem weird, and we're gonna get to fitness next, but when I think about self-care, it's all about getting in touch with nature. For me, it's all about getting in touch with the season. So in the wintertime, I bundle up, I get out there, I enjoy that brisk cold air. It's really invigorating for me. It wakes me right up. Well, likewise, in the springtime, getting outdoors and enjoying that fresh air with a little bit of shift in the season, getting in those extra steps truly does feel like a huge monumental act in self-care. And now that it's getting bright a little bit earlier in the day, potentially you might be open to waking up a little bit earlier to squeeze in some self-care before everybody else in your house wakes up. So I talk about my morning routine, again, not a shameless plug, but I will have a few of my different morning routine videos linked for you in the description box down below. But I have openly spoken how I am not a morning person. Innately, I am 100% a night owl. But 9 years ago, when I had my son, I quickly realized that I needed to wake up before him if I wanted to show up as the best version of myself. I will say, now that the shift in daylight is happening earlier and later, I'm finding it easier to wake up in the morning because it doesn't stay dark as long as it does in the wintertime. So maybe you can wake up 15, 20 minutes earlier, make your lemon ginger tonic, and enjoy a little bit of self-care. I've recently posted a short all about EFT tapping, that's emotional freedom technique tapping. It is such a beautiful way to bring in just a little bit of stillness. It's beautiful for our hormones and to reset our nervous system. So even if you woke up 10 minutes earlier, you enjoyed your lemon ginger tonic, you did a little bit of EFT tapping by 3 minutes of gratitude journaling, I can promise you that you would have a significantly better day and a complete shift in energy. So I want us to reevaluate our self-care routine. Just because something looked like it did in January when we were all that new year, new vibe and energy, which I do love, but now we're in April. The season has shifted, our days have shifted, we are changing as we are ever changing day in and day out as humans. So now is a really beautiful time to evaluate our routines and see what's working. So I just alluded to this in the last tip, and that is to spring clean your fitness routine. On my Glow Up to 40, I've been talking very openly how I have made a complete change in my fitness routine. I'm a very active person. I pretty much never sit down. As you heard me mention, I reach at least 12,000 steps per day. Most days are 15 to 16, 17, sometimes even 20,000 steps per day on an average day, not doing anything above and beyond my normal routine. But on my Glow Up to 40, I have been increasing the amount of weights that I have been lifting and even trying new fitness routines. So as somebody who's always been a big fan of walking, I'm now including a bit more weightlifting. I'm also doing a little bit of an older practice that I used to do all of the time 14, 15 years ago, and that is rebounding. I'm also doing a little bit of vibration plates because I love my vibration plate. It's really amazing for me to stay focused. It's also something I can do while I'm working. I just pop up my laptop right here at the counter. I can put the vibration plate behind me. I can kind of bend my knees, get into a little bit of a lower stance and have to hold in my core, There is an abundance of ways that we can shift and spring clean our fitness routine. If you've been doing something all winter long and you're feeling called to maybe get out and do a hot mom walk, as I like to call them, get out, grab your girlfriend, grab a cup of coffee after you get the kids off to school and do a quick 45-minute hot mom walk. If that's the case, maybe during that hot mom walk, you can bring some arm weights with you. I love the Bala ones. I will have those linked for you in the description box down below. Maybe you can just shift things up a little bit. Maybe you and a girlfriend could go to the park and you could do a little bit of Pilates together, or even like a quick 7 to 11 minute HIIT workout. Whatever works best for you and whatever you're being called to do. I just don't want us to get stuck in a rut where we're doing the same exact fitness routine day in and day out, unless you're absolutely crushing it and it's helping you reach your goals. But now would be a really great time to pause and evaluate. So now that we're shifting our workouts a little bit, we're shifting our diet, our self-care, this is a really beautiful time to do a little bit of spring cleaning when it comes to our schedule. I'm not sure about you girls, but in the months of April, May, and June, spring sports get extremely busy for me and my family. And if you have children around the same age or older, I'm sure that you feel these sentiments. But I really think it's important for us to evaluate, because it feels as though we have that extra time with the extended daylight, for us to do a little bit of spring cleaning of our schedule. First and foremost, on the weekends, if you can, if at all possible, carve out a little bit of time on Saturday and Sunday to support the first goal that we set, and that was to spring clean our diet. The easiest way to do this is to do your meal planning on Fridays. If you're part of the Living Well membership area, then you get your meal plan from me on a Friday. Then I would encourage you to either digitally do your grocery shopping on Friday night to pick it up on Saturday or have it delivered, or you can physically go to the grocery store like I like to do on Saturdays, do your grocery shopping, and then on Sunday, prep your food. If you're able to carve out just 2 hours, one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday, you will have changed so much in your schedule. And the reason I mention this is because when we can do ingredient prepping, meal planning on the weekend, it lends to so much more time during the week. As I mentioned, with those busy spring sports schedules, it's hard to have to think of a recipe, come up with the ingredients, throw it together on a Monday night when you're rushing out the door to practice, or you're just getting home from a late night practice. Versus if we can evaluate the time that we have on the weekend, or if it works best for you to do this on a Tuesday and Wednesday or a Thursday, Friday, whatever works best for you and your schedule. But to set aside this time, it opens up so much mental capacity later in the week, and then it prevents you from feeling that fatigue of not knowing what to cook, having that overwhelmed sense in the kitchen. So that's just evaluating our schedule when it comes to our diet. Then I mentioned bringing in these extra practices of getting out to walk or maybe doing some extra fitness routines. In order to do that, I do find that I've been really trying my best to limit any meetings that I don't need to personally participate in. Second to that, any in-person meetings that I don't need to take that can be done via Zoom, because of course that affords me time on either side. I know this is not revolutionary information, but it is a really good reminder, not only for myself, but for you as well. If there's an opportunity to pull yourself out of activities that you don't physically have to be at, I would highly encourage you to do that. And then next to that, I've been really conscientious of the amount of time that I am spending on this. We are all glued to our phones more frequently than we would like to admit. At least I know what I'm speaking for myself. So even when it comes to group text messages, I can really get pulled into this communication because I want to stay in touch with people, but I am setting off these blocks where I do not check my phone. I absolutely refuse to check and or respond to text messages. I'm not responding to emails. I'm really looking at these like power hours in my day, and I'm getting so much more done, and I'm doing it faster. I'm doing it at a better capacity, and the output of work that I'm creating is significantly better than it would be if I'm being disrupted in these different capacities. And so I would encourage you to really evaluate your schedule and see if there's anything you can do to pull yourself out, to make it more efficient, and to potentially cut things from your schedule that truly don't move the needle and don't need to be there. So regardless of what you choose to apply and take away from today's video, I hope that this was a beautiful reminder to you to take a look at what's valuable and what adds to your life, and then to evaluate the things that maybe potentially are pulling you back and weighing you down. Because to me, wellness is about so much more than what we put in our body. Of course, that plays a huge part. What we put into our minds and what we put onto our calendar, wellness is all encompassing, and it's something that should really help uplift us and not weigh us down. So I would love to hear from all of you in the comment section down below what you're doing to spring clean your wellness routine, and what new practices you're excited to add, and potentially things that you're looking to omit for the upcoming season. And if you like today's video, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And now the subscribe button is right over here on the screen. Give that a click. That way you don't miss a single video. And I hope to see you back here next Thursday.